If you're a beginner and you're completely new to the concept of recording videos with your camera, then the simple tips I'm going to share here can help you to avoid overwhelming confusion so that you can just get out there and start practicing, learning and just improving overall, as there really is nothing more intimidating than buying your first camera and you're all excited to use it. But then overwhelm quickly sets in because you're not really sure of what to do, where to go, what to record. The thing is, the steps here will apply pretty much to any walk of life with regards to using a camera. For me personally, I absolutely love cars, and over the last couple of years, having worked on multiple video projects and even YouTube channels, I found a love for getting out there and recording videos because it's amazing how you can bring your ideas to life through the lens of a camera. So car shows essentially were a perfect avenue to allow yourself to feel uncomfortable, but yet at the same time force yourself to get out and feel that discomfort while trying to make some level of progression. So don't be afraid to go out there and record, because the chances are, especially if there's a lot of people around, people will look at you, yes, but more often than not, a lot of people don't really care. If anything, they'll be intrigued because more often than not, you'll be doing the one thing that they're probably not doing or that want to do themselves, but just don't have the confidence to do it. But at least if you put yourself out there, you're showing that you are developing that confidence and you can be that inspiration to other people. So with these points in question, the first one essentially would be to set the scene. Put yourself in a position where you can see something that you look at and you can be like, right, I can record something here. It doesn't have to be anything perfect, because I know from my own experience, and I'm telling you now, your first videos are never going to be top tier. They're never going to be cinematic or movie quality, but you have to start somewhere. So if you have a car in a particular place, especially if you are going to a car show, as I'm using this for an example, you'll find loads of cars lined up. People love to show off their cars, they love to natter and they just chat. This will help you to build up connections. But if people see you recording their car or taking a photograph of it, they'll be naturally curious and want to know more. So if you see a car in a particular area or parked up in a certain way, don't be afraid to go over and have a look. Scope the car out and think of it as something, as a challenge or a little project you can do in the moment, something that you can work on. Even walk around the car and look at different angles and think to yourself, right, maybe I can get a picture from this way, or maybe I can record from that way. Obviously just making sure that you have enough room, because there is going to be other people walking around or floating around, and you have to be mindful of other people around you anyway. But even just to be mindful of other cars that be parked nearby, that you don't bump into them. Sometimes you nearly need to think on the fly. And that's another good point of reference as well, which is for the second point, is that you need to be able to think fast, especially in these scenarios. This will also help you to just say to yourself, feck it, just do it, get it over and done with. If I spend nearly 10-20 seconds doing this, it'll be over and done with, and then I can move on to something else. The best thing here is not to overthink it. Have a plan of a shot in mind that you want to do, whether it's a panning shot, whether it's a reveal shot, whether it's a crane shot, or anything that you can think of in the moment that you best think will suit that specific scenario. And even if you have a shot list to hand, even better. I generally like to record my shots anywhere between 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds, and that gives me a good basis of a particular area of focus that I want to create around that one particular clip, whether that's like revealing an engine or just revealing an interior in a car, or even the wheels, for example. You can pick a point of interest, which leads on to the next point, which would be the third point, is that focus on a particular spot of the car. You can use the headlights, you can use a badge, branding of a car, like say Toyota or Audi or Ford, Citroen, Peugeot, whatever the brand is, and even more so if you are familiar or are enticed by a certain brand. Like for me, I'm generally not too fussy with regards to different makes or models of cars, but I do have particular preferences. I do love Fords, I do love the likes of Mitsubishi, Subaru, especially all the Japanese cars, because I'm from that era. But as I've gotten older, I have grown a liking to more classic cars. Like I do love the old Citroen DS's and likes of your old BMWs, your old Mercedes, things of that nature. And that's what these car shows will provide, because they will give you a very distinctive format, because there'll be so many different varieties of cars that are on display. There's no reason why you shouldn't try to capture footage of as many of them as you can. So yeah, picking a point of interest, like I said, either pick the wheels, even the steering wheel, the wing mirrors, the bonnet, the engine, even the exhaust. fast. Pick points of reference that you can use, and then you can use simple moves and tactics like, say, a push forward movement or a pull back movement, or even you can use it to do an orbit shot around that particular area of the cow. Do like even a badge reveal, and eventually you'll build more confidence that you can maybe do a full orbit shot around the cow as well. And bear in mind, make sure that you have room and that there's not too many people about that can get in your way. Now, in fairness, I found people usually are very mindful and respectful when they see people with a camera. They generally try not to get in your way. Now, that's most people. Some people don't care, but you just don't allow that to annoy you. You just let the people pass and then you shoot the shot again, because that's also the next point of view, which would be the fourth point, is that you do need to take multiple shots. Practice it as many times as you can until you feel that you've got a shot that's worthy of putting into a video that you're going to create, because your first shots generally won't always be that great. Now, in saying that, with time and practice, sometimes your first shot will end up being your best and the rest will be not so good, but that's just the luck of the draw. But the more you do, the better you get, and it's just a habit that you'll gradually build over time. So if it takes 15 or 20 shots to get one good clear point of view on a particular element, like say an engine bay reveal or something like that, then just keep doing that until you find a point where you think, right, this looks good and I think it'll be usable, and just keep doing it over and over again until you become comfortable with it, because it will get better. Trust me, it will. If you're out on your own, it can be overwhelming. I will say that from experience, but even if you do have someone with you just to chat and have the crack, you'll find that it will make that process somewhat less daunting, because it will take your mind off what people are thinking so that you can actually focus on what you're supposed to be doing. And even leading up to the last point is just always think of everything that you're doing as a project. Like for me, when I first started doing this, even on a couple of the other channels that I have, I literally go to car shows and this is what I do. I literally just record stuff and then I pop it up on YouTube. Now, in most cases, I used it originally as a platform just to get familiar and get comfortable with using the camera and learning how to just edit videos and just gradually trying to get better. Everybody's processes for doing all of these things will be slightly different. Like, not everybody will be great at editing first. It just takes time. Not everybody will be good or great at using the camera in the beginning, because you'll be learning all of the different camera moves and all of the specifics around it. That just takes time. All of these elements do take time, and I'm finding myself that I'm still learning all the time. There's always new things that you can do, like even say a new camera comes out that has new features. There's always something that you can add, or even take things that you have done before, or even reference stuff from other content that you've seen online, and always be thinking to yourself, how can I implement that into my own content? Always take inspiration and references from other places, not just with cars, but even like from nature or even things that you see out in the real world. There's always something out there that can influence an idea. All of these things take time to build, so just start off with simple means. Get out and just record simple shots, like I said, simple movements, push forward, pull back, slide reveal shots, just moving from side to side, even push up shots. Just pick points of references on particular cars that you like the most, like say the headlights, tail lights, wheels, pretty much everything else that I've mentioned here. There'll always be something that'll stand out to you. Just use that and move forward with it. Even just standing by the side of the road and just pointing the camera at cars that are going past, and even just panning the camera to move with the car, or even just leaving it static. You'll often see even like loads of photographers even sitting by the roadside and they're just snapping photos of cars that are going past. You can pretty much do the same if you want to take photographs, or if you just want to leave the camera in place, you can get yourself a wee mini tripod and leave it sitting. You can leave it sitting high up or even lower to the ground. I even find leaving the camera as low as possible emphasizes the movement of the cars a lot more, and it just adds so much more coolness to the shot, if you will. So that's also something that you can do. There's so many ideas really what you can do here, but the best thing to do is just start, and all of those ideas will naturally come over time. But if you're still struggling and you want help even with a shot list of the most simplest shots that you can use just to help you get started, then I've created a video here that might just help.